So there's this guy that you guys may or may not be aware of. His name is Owen Benjamin. He's he calls himself a comedian, and I guess that's what he is. He's somebody who was outcasted by the intellectual dark web because he was basically, so crazy that he was too far outwards for even the intellectual dark web. And he's actually gonna touch on the IDW, and we'll get to his comments on that once we see the clip. But he's Alex Jones's buddy, and I think maybe even his best buddy at this point. They've kind of banded together because they're really the only ones left in their sort of group, if you will. And he's going to go after Joe Rogan here. Now, this beef is very weird because Owen's been on his podcast a couple of times. I don't know if Joe Rogan and him have completely severed ties. Someone can let me know about that in the comments section. But this is just a weird situation all around, man. But he's basically going to go on to defend Alex Jones, and he's going to go after Joe Rogan, and then he's going to start touching on the IDW.
This Alex Jones clip, and then we're going to talk about Joe Rogan's gone full evil, in my opinion. We'll talk about it after. This is 10 minutes, but it's well worth it. And my Owen Benjamin Clips channel, shout out to Base Texan, is on a 3-month suspension, and that helps put food on his table, and it's because he played a clip of me and Alex Jones. Subscribe to it, Owen Benjamin Clips channel. Great guy. 3-month suspension. So what do? Time to play a clip of Alex Jones for the first time on my channel. Do you know how much money I'm making this month on here? 5 times more than I ever have. Do you know what I have to be able to do at any time? Risk all of it. Because that's how the devil gets you. It's all temptation. I'm about to do something that I know will probably get I will most likely be suspended or not. I can't have fear. Fear not. It's like the amount of money, the temptations are insane. It's like when I just look at my YouTube analytics and how much money is coming in, it's insane. And that's when the devil gets you, right? That's when you go, oh, I'm not going to play Alex. I'm not going to play Alex because I want to keep my money. I have to be able to burn all of it at any time or I lose the connection to what is good in my life. And then when people say, oh, you deserve it. You deserve what happened to you. That's what Joe Rogan said. Well, you shouldn't have done that. You coward, fuck. All right, let's watch Alex.
Joe Rogan is now in studio with us, and let's do a document cam shot closer here, please. He's going to be interviewed, so it's like, I'm a sneaky snake. I mean, this is what it is. Because here's the deal: if you paid Joe enough money, if you're Cash Square and Jack Dorsey, which is all confirmed, it's all over the news now. The insider trading investigation is going on. If you pay him, if you put coins into the snake, then the snake does whatever you want. Oh, thanks, Alex. Sponsors. It's like all these Jack Dorsey companies, Twitter, and he doesn't tell people it's that. And it's like George Soros stuff. And then he's on air like George Soros talking points every day, and then saying Alex Jones is lying. I'm not giving out any George Soros talking points, but Media Matters says Alex Jones did this. That's literally George Soros. So I realized the way they're pushing him and all this, that CNN has no viewers. Joe has 10 million viewers, average podcast. Bigger podcast, like the one I was on, 45, 50 million people. So he's not deplatformed. I am. And then he wants to sit there while I'm tied up in the corner. They think we're still reaching a lot of people. Those that really count, those that are tuned in and really care. He tries to shut me down. So Joe, this is not satire. Joe did call me last night a couple times. I had the phone off and got the messages in the morning. And I don't really think there's anything for me and Joe to talk about. Joe's like, I apologized to you yesterday if I hurt your feelings or didn't have you on, but you're in a bad place and you're mentally ill. And I don't even have time to watch it all. I guess he's done hours on this, but he's like, yeah, Jones is insane. He claims.
He's now condemning the people calling out snakes. Joe Rogan. By the way, me and Alex last month were making fun of Joe being a little piece of shit. And people were writing me like, oh, you're so jealous. You're so jealous. They're now apologizing. Because that's the thing about Joe Rogan fans. A lot of them are good guys. That's why I give a shit. I'm not calling out The View. If you like The View, if you watch The View, your brain's been gone for way too long to resuscitate. Rogan has some good fans. That's why it matters, because they're going to be led astray. You know, that's a false prophet. You know, and that motherfucker has mocked Christ a lot. You know, where he'd be like, oh, someone needs to find Jesus. I mean, this guy's, it's like, fuck you, Joe. All right, let's continue. And this dude's going down big time. And by the way, when you serve the controllers, when you serve the elite, when you serve Satan, when you don't have an audience, when you don't have power, they eat you, Joe. Prager and Ben Shapiro, like, when Alex gets attacked, they look at how much money they have. They look at their donors. They don't want to be associated with people on the fringe. Alex Jones is a fucking legend. People forget that he was like doing local Austin news shit like during Waco. That dude not only isn't crazy, and Joe Rogan to have the audacity to call a guy like Alex Jones like schizophrenic. Alex Jones has over decades built an alternative empire that's fought the mainstream to the point where Hillary Clinton has said his name like in disgust. That's big. Hillary Clinton's been like, and Alex Jones and his minions. It's like Joe Rogan. There's evidence that he did blackface, by the way. Have you guys seen this? This is Joe Rogan in the process of doing blackface. This is Joe Rogan. By the way, I texted that to Alex today. I was like, look, Joe Rogan in blackface. I'm doing Alex on Monday. Obama mentioned Alex Jones in a speech. It's amazing. And he's been right about so much shit. And so when people say, oh, he never calls out Israel, never calls out the Jews, it's like, what if he doesn't have any problem with Israel? To agree with you on everything, the guy's got balls. It's like people are just like, oh, well, he doesn't hate Israel. What if he doesn't think it's Israel? What if he thinks it's China? China is a bigger threat to America than Israel. And anybody in the know fucking knows that. Israel is just really annoying. Because they're trying to, you know, they get us in, they get a wall, we don't get a wall, they get us in wars, they have all kinds of like media that like makes us hate our own dicks. China is clearly a bigger threat. And like Alex talks about China. When me and him were hanging, he's like, dude, fucking China. It's like, he's not lying. And so when people, I've had so many emails be like, when are you going to see that Alex Jones is controlled opposition, Zionist chill? I'm like, I've been to InfoWars. You're not allowed to take pictures outside there because, like, dude, the guy's got weaponry. Like, that dude isn't a fucking shill. He's the opposite of a shill. Just because he doesn't, like, get really pissed about fucking Israel, it's like China. The Jews in America running the media are a problem. But it's like, I like Israel. I just think we should stop giving them money. And like, I don't think we should go to Syria. That's how adults talk, by the way. Adults talk that way. They don't go, everything bad, I'll get rid of everything. There you go. Well, let's just go through the process. Like, what is good, what is bad? He filmed Bohemian Grove. He outed the owl. People have no respect for legends anymore. It's such bullshit. Alex has the fucking documents. He outed the owl. He filmed Bohemian Grove. He's the only Christian journalist like ever. Do you agree that there are paid agent provocateurs? Of course. Dude, the real, I don't even know if they know it, but like the real fucking deal, the real controlled opposition is the intellectual dark web. It's Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, the Weinstein brothers, Sam Harris. That's the controlled opposition. It's right there. They're called I was on the goddamn website, guys. I was in the intellectual dark web without my fucking knowledge. That's why I started calling out Jews. It's like Sam Harris is awful. Ben Shapiro, sometimes he makes awesome points. He's short. he's way too into wars, and his takes on Roseanne and James Gunn, it's like he's so annoying. But like he's not Sam Harris bad, but the Weinstein brothers are snakes. And Jordan Peterson's a snake. I mean, Jordan Peterson literally has said some of the most brilliant things I've ever heard, and total gibberish. And I think he has horrible intentions. But that's why I got extra angry about Jordan Peterson, is because I found him the most dangerous, because he's said some really inspiring shit and some stuff that was like truth to power in a time of chaos. And he did help me in certain times. I hate to admit it, but ABP wants to be PM. Well, that's not bad in and of itself if it wasn't for the fact he's a closet socialist.
This guy is like one of the most interesting people that exists in the political sphere, because he's so hard to pin down as to what exactly he is, because he's just so all over the place. You know, it's easy to pin down someone like Ben Shapiro. It's easy to pin down someone like Steven Crowder, because you know where they stand on everything. But when it comes to an Owen Benjamin, I really don't know, where to peg him and where to put him, because he's just so all around. But one thing I've noticed is he's clearly a heavy drinker, and he's been burning every single bridge possible. In fact, he's getting hammered on this stream. And by the way, what's up with the crazy, 1980s video quality? Like, dog, what are you doing, bro? But anyways, he says that, no one wants to associate with Alex Jones, like Ben Shapiro and those types. And those conservatives don't want to associate themselves with Alex Jones because they don't want to rock the boat. They want to make sure not to, go too far for their in jeopardizing the donors that they have and the money that they get from their donors, which they do get a lot of funding from these donors. Like, for example, Ben Shapiro, his massive amount of seeding money that he got to start out the Daily Wire came from the Wilkes brothers, who are billionaire Bible literalists. I believe they made their money from fracking, although it could have been from somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's from. But they don't want to associate with him. But the reason why they don't want to associate with Alex is not because of, jeopardizing their donors. It's because he's legitimately a lunatic. Alex Jones is absolutely a lunatic, and literally anybody with any common sense knows this. But we're talking about Owen Benjamin here. We're not talking about someone with common sense or just normalcy of any sense. That's not the kind of person we're talking about here. And it's really ridiculous. So the reason why Ben Shapiro got into a big beef with Alex Jones was not because of his donors, but rather because he's a lunatic, and maybe it's because he doesn't want the right wing to be represented by him. That could be a very plausible point as well. Now, Alex and Owen are actually good friends because they have both been outcasted. So they're both super fringe guys who got burned by the intellectual dark web. And Owen goes on in this in the clip to where he says that he left the intellectual dark web. That's clearly not what happened. I mean, for what it seems like to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but what it seemed like to me was he got kicked out, and people were just like, oh no, like, we don't associate. I think the Weinstein brothers, he got pissed at because they were like, oh no, we don't associate ourselves with this guy, because he was just being very stupid and insane. So the reason why Alex Jones and Owen Benjamin are good buddies is solely because they're both outcasts of the intellectual dark web. Now remember, the intellectual dark web brands itself as being the counterpart to the mainstream, and they have their own little niche of giving these, non-PC, anti-status quo, anti-mainstream, non-PC positions. But there are so many lunatics who are so insane that they don't even make it into that category. So someone like a Stefan Molyneux, who they won't, entertain, or someone like a Lauren Southern, or someone like Owen Benjamin here, or Alex Jones. They don't want to associate themselves with those people because those people are legitimate lunatics, and they're such lunatics that they aren't even able to be part of the intellectual dark web. And Owen Benjamin says that Alex Jones is a legend. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to something like that. Alex Jones, in a sense, he's a legend, I guess. I mean, yeah, he is. He's a very big meme legend. There's this really funny video that's titled Alex Jones Will Hunt Down the Enemies of InfoWars. It's like a 15-second video, but it's like one of the best meme videos I've ever watched. I've watched it like 4 or 5 times, maybe 10 times. So yeah, I guess in a sense he is a legend if you look at it that way. I mean, he certainly is somebody who is extremely well known, infamously that is, and there's a lawsuit going on currently. He is a meme lord. There are videos of edits of him, going Super Saiyan, which are pretty hilarious. But he's a legend in a way that you don't want to be a legend. You don't want to be a legend in the way that Alex Jones is a legend. So, you know what? I'll grant you that point. I guess he is a legend in a way to where so many people know him and there's so many memes about him, but you don't want to be that kind of a legend. Be a Kobe Bryant legend, be a Nas legend. Don't be an Alex Jones legend. That's not what you want to do. And then he starts getting into the slights that he does against Joe Rogan. And apparently he does these all the time. And I have to say, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what your guys' reaction was to seeing the joke about the Joe Rogan blackface thing. But I actually laughed. I can't even front. I'm not going to lie. But basically this joke is that Joe Rogan is a thumb, I guess because he has a bald head or whatever. That's my understanding of the joke anyway. Maybe I don't even know. But the blackface thing is, obviously a fingerprint with black ink. And so it makes it look like, it's blackface because he's a thumb. And it's, that's pretty fun. That was funny. Okay, maybe it's not that great of a joke, but I still laughed when I saw it for sure. And it seems to be the case that Owen Benjamin, uses 2 jokes recycled. One of them is that he's a thumb, and they did that on, InfoWars. They said that it's proof of cloning and showed a picture of a thumb, insinuating that, Joe Rogan is a thumb. And then, they have the other joke of him being short. Now, I've never heard Alex Jones use that joke, but Owen Benjamin certainly is rapid firing that one where he calls him short. He actually did the same thing with Ben Shapiro. He called him short and talking fast and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. So he then proceeds to deem the intellectual dark web as controlled opposition, which is pretty hilarious. I mean, it's simply not true, obviously, and I don't even think I need to really provide a response to something like that, but it's simply not true. They're not controlled opposition. The reason why, Owen Benjamin is saying that the intellectual dark web is controlled opposition is because he's angry and pissed off that his persona and general, insanity and dumbassery does not fit the mold of the intellectual dark web. That's why he's pissed about the IDW. So he calls them controlled opposition because he's angry that he can't fit into the IDW. That's the reason why he's saying it. They're not controlled opposition. They believe what the fuck they believe, except for maybe like Dave Rubin, who's kind of paid to believe whatever the fuck. And then he says, he left, but I'm pretty sure he got kicked out. I don't think he left on his own volition. I'm pretty sure that he legitimately was just straight up kicked out. And I remember Eric Weinstein specifically said that he didn't associate himself with Owen Benjamin, or that the IDW was not associated in any way with Owen Benjamin. So that's kind of the evidence that I have there. But he also oddly says there Jordan B. Peterson. I believe he said Jordan Peterson is a closet socialist because he has paintings of Lenin in his room or something. Now, apparently, I think I read in one article about him that he puts up the Soviet paintings to remind him of real oppression or something like that. But the idea that Jordan Peterson is a closet socialist is hilarious. I mean, we already know that he's dodged debates with Marxists left and right after claiming that Marxists won't debate him. He raised the fee for the college that wanted to host him and Richard Wolff because he knew that he would be absolutely mauled by Richard Wolff. So he's definitely not a closet socialist. I really don't even know where that one came from in the first place. It's hilariously stupid, to say the least. But this guy's kind of insane, and it's only fitting that he's an Alex Jones associate. He has decided that his best grouping for him, I guess, is to just become Alex Jones's best friend or his best buddy or his best mate or whatever. And that just seems to be the situation here. So let me know your thoughts about this down below.